Okay. Here we go there, folks. It's time for Wednesday Warships. I'm your host, Strange Road Jim. Today, once again, we're going to be getting back into some World of Warships. Now, today is a little bit of a special treat because I'm going to be joining Blackheart and playing some World of Warships. He got a little interested in trying it out, so we're going to be joining him, well, once I switch on over to Discord, so that I can start chatting with him. But I wanted to kind of take this time a little bit to take care of a couple administrative things before we get too much into it. First off, he's a brand new player, so go easy on him. um, I'll be doing the same. He said that he's played World of Tanks before, so he's not unfamiliar with wargaming and their style of gameplay, but we're still going to need to kind of show him a little bit more of the ropes on World of Warships, and that's okay. Everybody has to start somewhere, um, so I mean, I still make mistakes, and but then again, I'm a casual player, so I mean, it's all good. We'll see, how far he kind of wants to go with this, but first thing that I want to take care of is opening up these containers that I have. One was through the daily, so open that up. Okay, and then another one I got right at the very end of the of last week, so I wanted to kind of show that, before I got too far. Now, I'm not going to be doing anything with the campaigns. Probably not going to be doing much in terms of naval battle. They're basically saying, hey, you need to grind up some XP. It's okay. We're you know we're going to be looking. We want to try to obviously, ideally it would be great to have more people um, in the clan to help us out, filling that out a little bit more during the week. I only play Wednesdays, so I mean, I can't contribute all that much, but I mean, if anybody else wants to, then if anybody else wants to join the clan, there's going to be plenty of space. So, um, but we're going to be playing majority of like first tier and second tiers tonight, most likely. Um, and probably gonna help him, figure some things out as well. Um, you know, if he needs any assistance on anything in particular, then we're just gonna be basically using, my tier 1 to tier 2s to kind of help out. So, but yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and switch on over to Discord here real quick. Get him on, get him in on the discussion, and let's get going.
Researches. Like maybe fully upgrading the tier 2 ones. Feel like it would be a waste to use that free experience on the
Hey
tier.
there, Blackheart.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
Not bad, my friend. How about you? How are you doing?
Let me lower the volume of the game on my end, because I can barely hear you.
Gotcha.
Where is it? Audio.
Yeah, music is probably one of those that you probably turn down quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you love the music, then obviously you'll probably want to keep it on, when you're, um, playing on the regular, but yeah.
I just lowered it quite a bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so I kind of got through my little intro and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
So I've been noticing the fact that you have been playing a little bit there. Um,
Yeah, I still need to unlock the to make a platoon or join a clan. I'm still like need I win 2 battles, I'll get like level 7, which is unlock the next basic thing. And just now I just unlocked the free experience just now.
right. Have they given you the access to captains yet, or no? Because I'm noticing that you have
No,
a.
nothing. No,
Okay.
none of that yet.
Okay.
So in the
Um,
meantime, I'm using the tier 1s on PvE just to unlock those faster. Since they're
okay.
pretty short battles.
Yeah, yeah, they normally are. So, um, okay, so I should be able to invite you into the clan. From what I understand, there's nothing restricting me to inviting you. I just need to figure out how. Let's
Well,
see.
you should probably be able to do it from maybe your clan menu, like invite
Let's
player and then
see.
write down the player you want to add. And it was like that in World of Tanks, where clans could send invites through their clan menu, or if they were in game and they could right click on in the list and they would see invite to clan.
Okay, I
I don't
believe.
know how it is here. I don't even know if World of Warship has Clan Wars. I remember World of Tanks had that, and I did a few rounds of that before.
Yeah, let me see if I can send you a message. Uh, hey there, Blackheart.
Yeah, I see your message.
Okay. Now, so you can go ahead and add me to your contacts. Um, Now let's see. I'm going to go ahead and invite you into a division. Uh, Definitely not be ready on that one. So all you have to do is just accept the join to division there.
Oh, there it is.
Little pop-up window.
Okay, there it is.
There we go. Okay. Now let's see. Let me see if I can invite you into the clan. So there
Yeah,
might be
I
a.
got the invite.
Okay. You're welcome to join if you want.
Station. Yeah, yeah.
Like I mentioned to anybody, if you don't want to be part of the clan, you don't have to. But uh, it sounded like you had some interest in it, so
Yeah, I am interested in being part of a clan.
okay. Now, my clan isn't that large. You're the seventh member,
Hmm.
um, and so there are some benefits to being a part of the clan, obviously. If you open up in the upper right hand corner, there looks to be like a little building with an arrow right next to it.
Yeah.
If you click on that, that should show you a listing of all the buildings that have like been researched and what the benefits are for you. So, for example, the dry dock there, um, all the repairs done to your ships are 10%, reduced in cost. So instead of
That's nice.
so instead of like 1,000, you know, credits being used to repair your ships, it's now like 900. So so not too bad, not too shabby on that.
Yeah, this is
So
nice.
obviously the basic XP to allow for us to actually get into the weekend clan battles, or the weekend naval clan battles. Um,
Yeah.
so, and that's under the engagement group stage, which obviously we're not there just yet. Um, okay, OBS Studio, sure, feel free to disconnect. I'm sure that my chat would love that. Okay.
Troll there.
There it goes. Reconnect. Okay, so um, I doubt that we're gonna be able to get 18K in just the 2 hours that I normally stream tonight. Um,
Mm.
but I mean, just bear that in mind. If you play any other day, then you're basically gonna be contributing to this in some fashion or another. Okay?
Yeah, I'll
So
probably try to do that. Mainly to get the hang of the game a little bit.
yeah. Right below that, obviously, is clan battles, but I mean, we're not
I can't
there
do it
yet.
yet.
um,
Like I wonder what the similarities between clan battle and clan wars from World of Tank are. Like, I look at it, let's see what it shows me. Yeah, it doesn't even show me the anything, just this one.
no, I mean, you can go
Remember
to
in World of Tanks, like this last I played World of Tanks didn't have anything like this.
yeah,
I don't know how it is now.
if you go
When I
to
was doing Clan Wars with the old clan I was with,
mm,
it felt like a tournament format. Like every single clan that's attacking it would have to beat each other, and the last one standing has to fight the defending team, the one controlling the
yeah,
territory.
yeah, so um, if you go back down to clan battles, that up at the very top there is some additional tabs that you can click on. Clan rating, Hall of Fame, and rules. So that kind of gives you a little bit more details as to, um,
And in
you
World
know,
of Tanks, you would actually be able to see a bit of a world map to see what clans controls what.
yeah, but that's not, um, we you don't you're not really cared.
Non-existent here, pretty much.
Yeah, there's no really world per se. It's just, yeah, it's the number of battles and you know how much you're winning per se. So, you know. What's your clan rating based off of the number of battles that you're doing, kind of thing. So, for Division Star, the more players you division up with and play along with,
Mm.
the more stars uh, are possible, and the more stars you get, you look at up at the that little timeline, kind of look to it, and you'll get some extra benefits for every star that you have. So um, so if you see a player that's online, then maybe see if you can get them to like join you in a division so that you have the potential of getting more stars out of it. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to get up to 75 stars because every
We're still small.
well, yeah, but every team up you can only get like 3 stars total. So we would need at minimum 25 people to team up with
Yeah.
per se. So, or well, no, not necessarily. Everybody has a potential of getting stars. So if it was just like by myself, I would need 25 stars in order to, I would have to team up with 25 people. But, you yourself, you're also going to be getting 3 stars. So, actually, I think it's individual based. Um, so while, I get 3 stars and you get 3 stars, it's not going to combine to 6 stars. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if that was the case, but yeah, probably
Un-
not.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Probably not. So um, if I remember correctly. So um, so yeah, that's pretty much everything that you kind of need to know about the clan for the most part. I mean, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. But
No, definitely like more complex and more simplistic than World of Tanks was. Like last I played, there wasn't a base thing. At least last I played, so I don't know now. From my experience, it feels like there's a lot more.
potentially.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's if you um, go back there. There we go. Okay, so it hasn't given you the possibility of doing captains yet, which is interesting. But let's um, let me switch it over to co-op battles.
Yeah.
I'm the division lead right at the moment in time, so I get to kind of choose between the battle types. But
Yeah, it's okay.
you're brand new.
Yeah.
We'll stick
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the
I'm gonna
co-op
save the
battles.
free experience for researching the other ships. I'm not gonna waste it on the tier ones. Because
Yeah,
it helps me get a feel for each nation, I guess.
yeah. Um, so bear in mind that while you can use your free experience to purchase or to like purchase upgrades and purchase
Yeah,
the
research up ahead.
research,
Yeah.
um, if you look at the tech tree, um, you might notice that there are some ships that are available to purchase completely with um, your free XP. So, for example, if you go to Germany, which is what I'm looking at right now, you'll notice on the far hand right hand side, you'll notice there's a ship called the Aegir.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So
If
you
I
can
save them up, I probably get uh, like a free premium ship in a way.
pretty much. Now, um, it's gonna take a long time to grind up a million free experience points to purchase these ships and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm not in any rush.
if you're you know if you've played as long as I have, kind of a thing, then hey, you have the potential of getting a free, well, potentially a free premium ship doing it that way. So it all depends on how often you play World of Warships. You know, if you played like off stream and stuff like that, if you're like grinding out your ships a lot, then um, you're gonna be getting yourself um, a lot of free experience points as well as other benefits as well. So, but obviously, if you just play it, once a week like I do, then obviously you're not gonna get as much.
Yeah,
So,
it'll depend on how much free time I have.
yeah, yeah, you know,
Like today, I was planning on grinding all of these tier one earlier, but I had to do a little bit of construction work here in my house, so I didn't have time for anything.
no worries on that. Okay, so shall we get started?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to head down to the division tab down at the very bottom. It's right next to the clan. So right next to it. If you click on that, there you go. There, you're basically readying up. So once we're both ready, then I can actually hit the battle, and we'll get pulled into a co-op battle. So
Yeah. Quite different from tanks. In tanks, with one just heading battle, like all three could see battle, but the other once one hits it, the other will get replaced by ready up on where the battle option is. That's how it was on tanks, so you didn't have to go all the way down there.
you should. I believe you could do the like the ready up.
I don't know. It was like grayed out on my end, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'm looking forward to trying out the other ships and see which one I favor the most. Like, for instance, in World of Tanks, I would favor the British heavies.
Okay.
Good range, good penetration, decent armor. They're quite
Battle
low.
starts.
But here I'll have to see what I'll do better with.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, seeing that the only ships that are available at Tier 1 is basically the
Yeah, Tier 1 and
cruiser.
2 are all cruisers.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to, like, really get into, like, the different ships, the destroyers, the
Yes, yeah.
battleships, or the aircraft carriers until you get to higher tiers. But I mean, if you grind one particular line up all the way, then you know you can get to it fairly quickly. So
Enemy force detected.
Yeah, probably like pick one, grind that one all the way, then go move on to the next one. I just need to decide like what line I'll take from what branch, what type of ships. But I
Enemy cruiser.
figure out how what my limit is right now. I have no idea how many ships I can have right now. World of Tanks I would actually be able to see my garage, like empty slots and which ones I had to buy. But here I cannot see that.
it should give you it should show you where your you know how many slots you have left. You know, down at the very bottom of the screen. We can kind of see that when we get back there. So.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
Thankfully, you don't have to worry about torpedoes in Tier 1.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into Tier 2s, then you start facing off against destroyers.
Enemy cruiser sunk. Our team has taken the lead.
This.
Our victory is in sight. Enemy cruiser foundered.
You've been running into the ground, aren't you?
Yeah, I actually cannot see him. I cannot see the bottom of it. I thought it was a little further away.
There's normally like a little indicator saying, "Hey, you're gonna run aground." So if you see that,
Yeah, no,
then
but I'm looking at my ship right now, and it's not directly touching it.
yeah, I mean you're still gonna have um like the island and whatnot. That's still gonna be kind of um I mean there's still like I guess you might say like the beach that you still need to kind of consider. So
Mm. Okay, now I
okay,
can see
nice.
where it is. I can see
My
where it says my limits.
my audio is
And
a
most of
little
it's more
too
visual,
high.
and it's not like hidden right here. If I move my mouse away from it, it'll eventually disappear. I have to hover like right over it. Room for 4 more. A total of 14 ships at once. Okay. Guess I'll just have to decide which nation is take where.
Yeah, I mean you can, if um as you advance, then um, you know, you have the potential of getting, additional slots for, in some cases for free if you want to. Obviously, the best way of expanding out uh, your space is by getting the balloons. And while, yeah, I wouldn't. Well, I mean, it's expensive to purchase doubloons, obviously. But um, if you want to, there is also the dailies that you get, when you log in. Let's see. Don't
Still
know.
one.
I don't know if there's like a way for you to kind of see that through the main screen here, but whenever you log in, they give you some like extra, um, like today I got a free container, you know,
Oh,
um, the next day I'm gonna be getting like credits or something like that. So if you're like playing every single day, or if you log in, every single day, then you have the potential of getting some more rewards out of it. And one of the rewards at the very end of the month is some free doubloons. Now it's not a lot, but it's if you get like you get like 25 doubloons every month kind of thing, then you'll have the potential of getting of purchasing some more slots.
hmm.
That that's up to you, obviously. Um, now um, through you know through containers that I've gotten, and through just you know sometimes just donation, well, not necessarily donations. Um, sometimes uh, let me go ahead and start up the next battle here. Um, Sometimes Wargaming will basically say, "Hey, um, sorry for our servers being down. Here's some doubloons or something like that." Sometimes they do that. Not often, but sometimes.
Yeah, I
So,
think World of Tanks did that once, but instead of giving us like gold, they gave us a free premium tank.
yeah. You're probably not going to be seeing that. I don't think I've ever gotten like a free ship. Now, you get like free premium ships for like tryouts. Like they'll
Battle
say,
starts.
"Hey, you did really well with this particular ship. Here's another one for you to try out if you want. Here's a premium ship for you to try." And it's like,
Yeah, I think they
"Oh,
brought that from
okay,
tanks. They tested it first there before bringing it to other games
yeah,
to see what people thought.
Yeah.
That actually worked out well. Like, you got like some people buying premium tanks.
Yeah. Same kind of process here in World of Warships. You know, they basically say, "Hey, you did really well with this battleship. Here's a you know a rental battleship that we're giving you for 3 days, so you can try out. You know, and maybe even purchase from us later. Kind of thing. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, obviously. Um, but you know, World of Warships can be pretty expensive too. So,
Yeah.
um, not to say,
So I can't remember right now from tanks, if the premiums like had like a boosting credits or not. I can't remember right now.
well,
I know
there's
premium accounts has a boost, but I
there
can't
there
remember how the tanks were in back then.
there are flags and stuff like that that can use to boost up your credits and the like. So, um, now I'm pretty much going headlong into the battle here, but I mean these are AIs. Their aim is
Yeah, their
terrible.
aim's pretty bad. Yeah,
So,
I'm right behind you right now.
I would not necessarily recommend doing that. You know, um, I mean,
Yeah,
unless
against
you wanna.
players, they would just destroy you.
Yep, pretty much.
That was the same with tanks. If you would rush, you were the first to die.
Pretty much. Now, seeing that we're playing against, oops. Now, seeing that we're playing up against cruisers and the like, would suggest that you kind of aim uh, towards the main hull. So, their armor is thin enough so that when you shoot towards their main hull, you're still gonna do a fair amount of damage to them. You know, with the HE rounds, you're still doing a decent amount of damage. For cruiser versus cruiser. Not always, but there are some warships that are pretty thick-skinned.
Victory is in sight.
So, um,
Yeah, I looked at a video from like their official channel that described a little bit about each ship.
yeah.
Yeah, I could easily compare each one with the tank counterpart a bit. To kind of get the idea. I just need to get used to the movement of the ships and the fact that there's hardly any cover.
Yeah. Yeah, for World of Warships, it's amount of like angles kind of thing. Angles are your friend
Mm.
when it comes to World of Warships.
Yeah, on
Um,
tanks it's like even more so because you have the hills, you have debris.
right. I mean, you can still use the islands to your advantage. Like for example, for aircraft carriers, it's a good thing to be behind an island, for example. Um, for battleships, it's okay to be behind an island, but more often than not, sometimes those islands are pretty high up, so it's a little harder to shoot. Um,
Yeah, you can't take full advantage of the arc of the shell.
right. Um, and um, for destroyers, islands are good for you to hide. You know, um, they add a little bit of the ability to kind of hide, to basically hide yourself in the island kind of thing. It kind of drowns out your your engine noise if you're close to an island, for example. So other ships can't you really detect you, you know, if you're like if you're on like the other side of the island, you're not necessarily going to be hearing the destroyer on the other side. You, you
No.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we keep on getting put into the same spot. Normally they'd randomize the locations a little bit more.
Yeah. Yesterday when I was testing it, I would get that side often. Now I like get the middle like every single time.
Battle starts.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, so normally you know, for HE rounds, you'd want to be aiming for like you know, the fore and the aft of your ship kind of thing, the front part of the ship and the back part of the ship, you know, in the hull. Or you want to aim for like the superstructure where the officers are and the like. But seeing that we're just playing cruisers right at this moment in time, HE rounds can still enter the hull pretty easily. Now, if you're going up against, say, like a St. Louis, which is another cruiser, tier 3, and you're trying to fire HE rounds into it, it might be a little harder because the St. Louis has pretty thick armor overall. So in some ways, I kind of wish that I could have AP and armor piercing rounds because that's like ideal when you want to go cruiser versus cruiser. Alright. Okay. Not sure why that guy wanted to ram, but
Maybe he wasn't paying attention to his surroundings.
maybe. Now remember, you do have a reverse on the ships. Obviously, it's slower, so I wouldn't
Yeah,
necessarily.
it also takes forever to start as well.
Well, I mean, um, if you want to, you could just go. You can kind of throw yourself into an island to do a sudden stop.
Yeah.
Um, so you can kind of move in the next direction later. So. Now the AIs are automatically going to be going towards the base, but I wouldn't suggest that you do that right at the moment because it's better for you to kind of get
No,
an
I'm just
idea
going
as to,
around an island right now.
you know, shooting a little bit more
Our victory is in sight.
than like base capture. know.
You know, I was just going around the island since it was faster. Oh, sorry, close to the edge.
Yeah. There it goes. Now, do you have any questions at all, or you still kind of good on that? Good so far, or
So far, I'm still pretty good.
let me know when you are ready to like move on. If like you've kind of done everything that you wanted to do with tier ones, and you know, I could see that
Yeah,
you have some tier two ships already, but obviously,
like
you know,
almost one of each nation. I would just need to get rid of like finish up with whatever this. I think this is Europe, and I don't know what was this. I don't know what nation this was.
you have Europe, Netherlands, and
Italy, I
Commonwealth.
think. The Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay.
Yeah, those are the only tier ones I have left.
Okay.
Let me. I think I just have enough for this one. Well, with the free experience, I'll actually be able to get through this one right now. To the second place in how much? Just 11? Yeah. I can get that back. Then that just leaves the Netherlands one, and that will be it. I'll move on. We can move on with uh, random battles with the tier 2s.
You want to do random battles with tier twos? Okay.
After I'm done with last one, the Netherlands. I think one battle will be enough to get rid of it.
Okay. That's fine.
You know, I have plenty of bad experiences with tier 1 tanks.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
There's this, at least that I can remember, on tanks there was no PvE. I don't know now, but back then that was non-existent. You had to do PvP.
Yeah, not sure.
I don't know if they updated that. It's been a while since I last touched it.
Yeah.
And the reason I stopped playing that game is because my graphics card died on me.
Understandable on that one. You can hit the start battle to kind of come into the screen early,
Action stations.
if you didn't already know. I take it that you were just kind of trying to like maybe read the tips early so you can.
Sometimes I read the tips
Yeah.
and get the hang of some things.
Yeah, understandable on that one. Now before we get um, into the random, there, um, I want to kind of talk with you a little bit about, you know, some techniques here. First off, um, one thing that I wanted to address is the fact that, you know, uh, now your your avatar is covering up the map
Yeah, I should
on
play with that.
World of Warships. Now, obviously, there isn't really good like spot down at the very bottom for World of
I'll probably move
Warships.
myself over the map, like right on
Yeah,
top of it.
you know, it's good when you have like you know potential for like stream snipers and the like, but you know, um, that way, you're not like giving out positions like, where the where our destroyers or subs are, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter all that much. Um, because it's not it's it's going to be very difficult for, like, the rent, the idea that, you're going to face off against someone that's currently watching you at the same time that's also your opponent is going to be kind of small.
Yeah.
So
So far, I've never had any trouble with stream snipers. I mean, I've played Valorant, another competitive team-based game, and I was just fine.
yeah. Come on. Already. Yep.
Enemy cruiser sunk. Our team has taken the lead. Enemy cruiser destroyed. Our victory is
One of
in
the
sight.
things about AIs is that they will steamroll into our camp circle. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a matter of like, hey, you want to just kind of wait for them to arrive? Because here they come. Yep, there it goes. Ideally, if you really want to get, the most amount of damage in, you know, against the clan battles, if you're going base, base versus base, which is typically like the main style of battle map that you're going to be doing on tier 1 battles, um, they're going to head straight for your base and try to
Yeah.
capture it. So, if you're like in the home base, you're gonna have plenty of targets.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I have 14 containers to open. God
oh
damn.
god,
Okay, open all. Most of them from the code I activated this morning.
it's possible.
There we go. Okay, some. Oh, some free premium currency.
You got some doubloons there, nice.
Yep, 1,000 right there.
Probably from the like the code that you put in.
Probably, yeah.
So, what I normally use those doubloons for is expanding um, ship slots. You know,
Yeah, I'll probably
so
do that the most to have like to be able to have at least one of each type from each nation.
yeah,
Right now, I'm good, so
yeah.
I'll save them up for now until I actually need them.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, to kind of start out right at the, because, like, for example, I have 42 ships and one vacant slot right at this moment in time. Um,
Mm.
and I mean, if you consider all the possibilities, let's see, Japan has, um, you know, the single battleship line. So cruiser, 2 destroyers, and carriers. So you have, you know, 5 potential ships there. Um, United
Japan,
States.
yeah, pretty much all the way to the USSR also has 5. UK,
United States
I think
has United States has more than 5, especially if you
more.
consider the
Oh, the
subs.
subs.
So you have 2
Yeah, those
battle.
are still early access. They're still like being tested, technically speaking.
Yeah, you still you have 2 battleship 2 potential battleships. So you have
Yeah,
2
the,
there.
the smaller
T
branches are pretty much Italy, Pan-Asia,
yeah.
Europe, and Netherlands are the smallest one. In the Commonwealth, there's only one ship, which is also a premium ship. They're probably still testing this one. I don't know. I don't know what this is supposed to be new in the future.
13, 18.
Okay. Let's
That's
see. Let's
25. 31. 35. 38. 40. 41. 42. And then the Commonwealth is just a premium ship anymore. So you basically need at minimum 42 port slots if you want to have, you know, one
one
of
of each.
each style ship at this moment in time. They're going to be bringing out more lines, you know, like for example, you know, I discovered, you know, I was stupid and I didn't realize that the French had aircraft carriers, for example, back in World War II. You know, I was
Hmm.
stupid. I didn't know. So, but in World of Warships, they haven't done that yet.
They're
So,
probably balancing it, probably.
well, I mean, they might not have actually, you know, uh, considered looking into that just yet. I mean, they're still,
Or they don't have permission yet. Take into consideration these are based on the real thing. They probably need to get permission to get the information first so they can make it as best as possible.
most of that information is already like out there, you know.
Yeah, but probably not all
So,
of it.
probably not all of it. Who's to say? But I mean, it's World War II, so I mean, what secrets are you going to be hiding from
Yeah.
World War II? So, um, most of that's been like declassified anyway. So, for the most part,
Or sold to a weaker nation.
yeah. But I mean, like I said, you know, you're talking a
Well,
very
take there's like take Argentina for example. We pretty much still have everything World War II. Pretty much, we don't have anything modern.
understandable on that one. Understandable, you know. You know, you know, obviously, you know, the um, you know, if the nation is able to maintain, you know, you know the, you know, army, navy, and stuff like that, then obviously, you know, that takes quite a bit of cash to handle that, you know. So, you know, I mean, hell, you know, just here in the States, the fact that they pump so much money into the military, it's
Like
it's
most of it goes into military.
it's almost ridiculous how much goes
Yeah.
into it. So, but at the same time, you have to consider the fact that, you know, there's you know, U.S. military bases, you know, spanning the entire globe, you know, more often than not in nations that are allies, um, or have become allies since World War II. Um, so I mean that obviously has to, you know, that cost goes up as well. So, um, but yeah, So, okay.
At least they're spending on something they're actually using it.
True. Okay. So, um, are you done with your tier ones? Did you need to? Are you moving
Yeah, I
on to
already
tier
did all of
twos?
my tier ones. I have all the tier twos right now.
Okay.
Like,
So,
most of them are cruisers and they're two destroyers. I'll start off with Japan right now.
and you want this to be a regular battle now, not the co-op?
Uh, you have more experience with these. You decide what's best for tier two right now.
Okay. Well, with tier 2, you're more than likely going to be facing off against newer players, okay? No matter what, okay?
Yeah.
There might be some people like myself at the lower tiers. Maybe they're getting a new ship, or maybe they are um, helping out someone brand new. So they're obviously going to have a little bit of a higher advantage, okay? Um, they're going to have that experience level to them. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so um, I just want to know, what is your comfort level? Because I mean, are you comfortable on moving into, um,
I'll
you
have
know,
to try it sooner or later, I guess.
mm-hmm, yeah. So,
Okay. And
um,
as I can see, like next level, like two battles, and I'll supposedly get commanders or something like that.
ship commanders. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, we could do co-op battles until you get that, and then we can kind of, yeah, I can try to explain ship commanders a little bit more, if you want.
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's do that then. We'll stick with the co-op battles. This is kind of give you a little bit of appreciation of trying to combat against destroyers too. So,
Mm.
destroyers are, are, you know, um, as I've kind of mentioned before, they are the ninjas. Okay, they like to kind of they like to hide behind islands, pop on out, drop torpedoes, and do a ton of damage to you that way. So
Mm.
what you want to be careful of is rushing headlong into destroyer because they will put torpedoes into you and you're going to be hating
Especially
life,
if I'm sideways.
especially if you're sideways. Um, now, in this particular case, I would say let's head on down to the our base because the enemy
Battle
is going to be
starts.
heading in our general direction anyway. They're going to be heading
Yeah.
towards our base, so we can just go ahead
Good luck, everyone.
and um, guard it and you know and destroy any enemies that are going to be coming towards us.
Good luck, everyone.
Now, um, what I would suggest is we're probably going to be facing off against like destroyers first because they're the quickest. Um, so try to shoot HE rounds into those ships. Okay, but once you start getting um, more in combat with the cruisers, switch over to AP rounds to do more damage there. Okay. Now, um, one thing that you'll want to kind of get used to. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a whole lot, a whole lot here. Um, on the map,
Enemy
there's kind of
destroyer
like a
foundered.
circle over um that's kind of following you. That's kind of showing like your shot range.
Torpedoes to port.
Okay. So,
Torpedoes to port.
oh boy, we got a couple.
They catch you come to full stop because they're really close.
Yeah. I mean, don't go full stop because the torpedoes are going to be aiming for you. Okay.
And I'll start to accelerate, but if I didn't go full stop, at least 3 of those were gonna hit me.
Our team is taking the lead.
Yeah, obviously, you know, try to maneuver. Okay. Torpedoes are slow-ish in the water. Okay. So if you change your speed, you change your direction, the torpedoes are gonna have a hard time hitting you. Okay. So just kind of bear that in mind.
Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes to port. Enemy destroyer sunk.
Done with all the destroyers. Now we just have cruisers left that we're going up against. So I suggest that we switch over to
I'm
AP
already
rounds.
to armor piercing right now.
There goes him.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
Now with AP rounds, you want to try to hit. You want to try to aim for center mass. You know, try to aim for the center of the ship because that will do the most amount of damage. If you hit like at the front of the ship or in the rear of the ship, you're not going to be doing as much because those armor piercing will go straight through the light armor.
Enemy cruiser foundered. Our victory is in sight.
Or you can ram into the enemy. Up to you.
No, he's actually coming towards me. I'm turning. I was trying to try and get on his side.
No, understandable. Understandable. Okay, so let's do one more co-op battle, and then I want to kind of discuss a few things with you, because obviously, you know, we're going to be getting, um, you're going to be getting like a lot of information kind of dumped on you a little bit. Or at least
Okay.
I need to kind of convey a little bit of information to you a bit. So, if you could maybe research a destroyer, that'd probably be good too.
Okay, I have 2 tier 2 destroyers.
What's that?
I already have 2 tier 2 destroyers.
Okay.
Like
Then,
Croatia and one other, they go straight to that. They don't have tier 2 cruisers.
okay. Um, After this, instead of going into a random battle, let's go into a practice match because I want to kind of discuss a little bit in terms of like torpedoes and captains and so on and so forth, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna headlong into the enemy.
I'll go right behind you.
Now, I will, you know, just to warn you, don't go too close to an ally because, you know, one, they could shoot
Friendly
you.
fire.
Friendly fire. Now, um, it, you know, uh, it's not like instantaneous damage. Like, they're not gonna get hurt by you shooting them. Okay. They've actually had some people kind of complain about the fact that, you know, um, they had like allies basically killing, you know, killing friendlies because, you know, you have
Yeah,
idiots
boy.
like that. Um,
Yeah, that's coming all the way from tanks.
yeah.
Tanks was like really bad.
Oh man, I'm missing all my shots. Oh my gosh. I'm not hitting anything. Alright, well there's a cruiser coming up. Switch over to AP rounds. Everybody else is heading towards the towards our base, so you might want to start angling there.
Yeah, I'm starting to turn.
Oh, there's a citadel. There we
We've
go.
destroyed an enemy cruiser. Our team has taken the lead.
I'm not saying it's a limit of shots.
What's that?
I'm seeing it's like there's no ammunition.
Nope. You don't have to worry about ammunition on this.
If on tanks, you did have to worry about that.
Yeah. They basically consider, um, the the ships have so much in the armory that it's like,
Why bother?
it's, yeah, pretty much. So, obviously not exactly realistic per se, but
Our victory is in sight.
you have that destroyer coming up here. Gotta be careful of him because he has the potential of throwing some torpedoes into me.
Our victory is in sight.
Torpedoes, direct front.
There he goes.
They're really hard to aim at.
Destroyers? Oh yeah. They're small, they're nimble, and they have a high amount of speed. So they can be really difficult to hit overall. So okay, so now you have commanders and commander skills to worry about. So
Yeah.
every single one of your ships now has a commander to them. Okay. Or at least it should have a commander. They should automatically have given you a commander to deal with.
Yeah,
Okay.
they all have.
Um, now, um, I don't know if they give you. I don't think they give you an experience point automatically for every single one of those commanders. But if you select them, you'll be able to see their skills. So if you hover over one of them and click on them, you'll be able to go into the commander skills. Okay. Now, let me see. Uh, your economic bonus available is kind of blocking. If you have, I can't see if you have undistributed skill
No,
points underneath that.
I don't have any skill points right now.
Okay. That's understandable. Now, so because I mean these are brand new captains. Okay, so
Yeah.
once they start gaining up in levels, then you can start putting the points towards the skills that you have on those particular ships. Now, um, some so you're still dealing with um, cruisers and now destroyers for the most part. Um,
Yeah, like nearly all crucial except for two.
yeah.
For
Now,
Japan and Europe.
now
Those are destroyers.
you um now some of these captains don't really have any like well I mean you have basically like default commanders right now, right? And they're
Yeah.
given like they you have them assigned to these particular ships, right? The cruisers, the destroyers. Um, so what I normally like to do myself is for the captains that you have, you know, whether they're cruiser or they're destroyer, you want to keep them on. You want to keep those captains, and you want to keep them on that particular category of ship. So, for example, um, when you have a cruiser captain, for example,
Yeah.
you start building up their level, and you're putting points into their cruiser skills. So it wouldn't necessarily be in your best interest to suddenly switch them over to say destroyer captain later. I believe they still maintain. I think they still kind of keep the level, but I'm not quite sure what they do with the points. I think they either give them back to you so that you have to kind of redistribute, or um, the skills that you selected are gonna stay there. So, like some skills might not be well suited for, you know, cruisers versus destroyers, for example, right?
Yeah.
So, um, I would tend to recommend, when you upgrade your tier 2 cruiser to a tier 3, you want to take your tier 2 captain and put them in your tier 3 ship so that you can continue raising up your captain's level for that particular ship, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It
they're,
makes sense.
they're gaining levels overall, so you're going to have a higher captain as you kind of proceed down the line. Otherwise, you're going to have to repurchase brand new captains for every ship that you make, and they're going to start at base level. They're not going to start out at that particular tier level or anything along those lines. So, like if you get
Yeah.
to like a tier 10 ship, you buy or you purchase a brand new commander, they're going to start out at like level 0. Okay,
Yeah.
so um, so that's what I've been doing. You don't have to follow that if you don't want to. I'm just saying, that's how I do it. So um, obviously there's a little bit of a um, like a downtime there. There's the retraining of the commander, which there's ways of speeding that up. You can spend um, I don't know if it's credits or doubloons, if not both.
It should be credits because in World of Tanks, retraining was credits.
Yeah. You
We
can,
used to use like the golden tanks, but credits was the most common thing to use.
yeah, you can do it for free, which means you don't have to spend anything, but it takes a little bit of time for them to kind of get used to the ship, so they don't have like the skills, you know, there just yet. They have to kind of get used to the ship. Once they learn the new ship, then they get those skills back, right?
Yeah.
Um, if you spend credits, I believe that wait period um, is like halved, I think, or the
Hmm.
training is like halved if you spend credits, if I remember correctly. And if you spend doubloons, there's no wait. Your first battle that you're in, you you're already getting additional experience for your captains. Okay, so
Yeah.
so kind of bear that in mind when when you start expanding on your ships even more. Okay, so um, and we can now if you go back to your commander skills, there you'll notice that there are some skills that are highlighted in yellow. Those
Yeah.
are the World of Warships recommended. Like
Hmm.
you can spend points on the other skills, that are there, and some of the skills, can be fairly nice, you know, depending on, the ship that you're using, such as like, main battery traversal speed, for example. That could be fairly useful for um, in certain cases, right? But more
Yeah.
often than not, they basically say, hey, it'd probably be in your best interest to go with these, yellow recommendations. You don't have to, but that's what they recommend. So, um, and obviously, destroyer captains and cruiser captains are going to have different recommendations. So, okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to kind of point that out to you before we move on. Now, I want to bring you into a training battle. Um, if I can. Here, go ahead and select a destroyer real quick.
Yeah. I'm selected one already.
Ready up? Okay. Let's see. You cannot carry a training room while you're in a division. Oh, okay. Well, then that explains that. Let me go ahead and dissolve this division real quick. Or
Okay.
go ahead and leave the division. So select the division, hit the X, and that will allow for you to leave the division. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select the training battle. I'm going to go ahead and create a private battle just for us. Training room private. Let's see, I'm going to do 2x2, just um, 30 minutes. We'll just do that. Um, let me select a. Let's see. Here's a good one. There we go. Okay, let me see. See if if I can actually add you into... There we go. So you should have access to joining that training.
There you go.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select some bots for us to kind of just mess around with for the most part, but you know, I'm I'm not gonna have them kind of firing at you um for the most part. I'm just gonna have them kind of running around, okay? Um,
Mainly for target practice.
yeah, but what I want to do is um, you know, just I want to kind of just there's some details that you kind of need to know about like the map and stuff like that. You know how to use the destroyer and the like. Okay. Um, Now they're gonna be like rushing us to try to capture our base or something like that. So we're gonna need to kill them off at some point. But
Yeah.
um, I'm hoping that you'll be able to see the yeah, okay. So over on the right hand side of the screen, right above the map, there's these little gears. What you want to start the battle. Hold down control so you have your mouse being visible that you can use, and move over to that little cog on the right hand side, and that should open up mini map settings, right? So go ahead
Yeah.
and click on that to be
Action
able to
stations.
open up the possibility of modifying that. Okay.
Mm.
Now, so on there, it's showing minimap settings. You know, first off is detectability range by sea. That's you know, um, if you're out in sea, you know, can you know where can they, you know, can the ships spot you? You know, what's the distance on that, right? So they have to
Yeah.
be that close to you on the minimap to see you, okay, to spot you. So for you being a destroyer, you want to make sure that you try to stay. You want to keep ships out of that detection range for the most part. Okay.
Yeah.
There's detectability range by air, so if there's planes flying nearby, they're going to be able to spot you if they see that, you know, detectability range by air. So that could be useful for you, especially in the destroyer. Um, there, um, there's one for AA guns maximum fire range, but you don't have that, so you don't need to necessarily worry about it. There's the main battery firing range, which you already have that selected, so you know that basically shows, you know, how far out can you shoot your main batteries, right? Your main guns. So that's a good thing to have selected. And you also have torpedo range on yours. That's how far out your torpedoes can reach. Um, so that, you know, when you fire off your torpedoes, you know, that's the furthest out that they can go. If the ship is outside of that area and your torpedoes, you know, uh, if you fire off your torpedoes and they're outside, the torpedoes run out of gas and they stop. So they're no longer deadly. They just basically, you know, fall to the bottom of the ocean and well, you're out of luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, there's some other details on the right hand side if you want to, you know, draw attention to the area in the square, draw attention to the object. You know, that's helpful information if you're kind of curious as to how to go about doing that, which just basically says, hey, if you click on the if you click on a square, it basically says, hey, there's an enemy right there. You know, that kind of thing. You know, for example, that shows up on a map. Um, call attention to objects, same kind of deal on that. Range numerical values, it's helpful. You have ship names that you can select, and that will show you, um, the names of the ships that are, relatively close by for the most part. So you can kind of play around with that if you want. You can rotate the minimap. You can get your, you can change the opacity, background, and so on and so forth. You can change those settings to however you want to, you know, make it look for you, so on and so forth, right? So adjust that to how you want, and now we're gonna go ahead and start working on, showing you how to fire off your torpedoes. So go ahead and start moving your ship. Don't worry, I'm in the base, so they can't actually capture it. Now they could try to run into me, and I'll try to avoid that. But so here's the thing with your destroyer, you have the Pan Asian destroyer right at the moment. Those
Yeah.
torpedoes are deep ocean. So if you can see on your if you hover over your 3 there, you can see that your torpedoes are like kind of greenish or so.
Yeah.
Those indicate the fact that your torpedoes are deep ocean, meaning that anything that can ride in the shallows, such as destroyers, those torpedoes can't hit them. Okay, so you can't fire your torpedoes at, say, the Samson over here, okay, and hit them with your torpedoes. So if you want to, you can shoot at the Samson with your guns, with your main batteries, and that will, that will harm the Samson. Be careful though, because when you fire off your guns, you're making your presence known. Okay, so that detectability range disappears. You're now, you're basically saying, "Hey, I'm over here. Find me," kind of thing. So, uh, either use your guns when you're like behind an island and they can't see you anyway, or use them when um, you're already your cover's already been blown. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, you can run into me all you want. You know, we're you know you're um, if there is the possibility of you potentially getting like um, uh, I mean, if you continuously like rammed into someone, eventually I think it'll give you the fact that you're like harming another player, and it will start damaging you and put you in the pink. Whenever you see someone that's pink colored, that means that they've damaged another player. And when you damage another player, the damage reverts back to you, not to the not to whom you're damaging. So you could fire off torpedoes at me if you want to, but you're just going to be hurting yourself along those lines. Okay?
Yeah.
Same with guns. Now, your torpedoes are good against cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers because those are pretty much deep sea. So you can go rushing off against that Dresden and throw off torpedoes against it if you wanted to, because their hull is deeper in the ocean, so your torpedoes are capable of hitting it. Okay.
Yeah.
So select your 3 ability, and it should give you like a little cone for you to kind of see. Now, if you're there's you see the like aiming reticle basically saying, hey, this particular ship is someone that you're aiming at, right? Do you
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
That's who you're currently targeting. And for your torpedoes, that cone, there's going to be two separate cones for that you're going to be seeing on your torpedoes. One is the green cone that you're just kind of moving around to swing your torpedoes however you want to within the field range that you have. Um, and then there's like a little white cone that basically shows, hey, this particular ship is like, is potentially going to be like right here by the time your torpedoes reach that destination. So if you hover your green cone exactly over the white cone, fire off your torpedoes, if that ship stays on the same, stays heading in the same direction at the same speed, um, and doesn't change that at all, then you have the potential of having your torpedoes hit them fairly easily. Um, but be careful with this, because if they move, if they change their course, if they back up, move forward, however they change, wherever they're moving, that little white reticle obviously doesn't really apply very well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to judge, like if you're hidden, like if you're not like um, um, if you're staying out of their vision and stuff like that, you can make these sneak attacks on them and potentially do a fair amount of damage if they stay in the same space, same direction, same speed, so on and so forth. So it makes it very easy for you to kind of stay in that little white reticle and hit them, right?
Yeah.
But if they're smart and they spot you, then they're gonna try to move in some fashion or another to try to avoid your torpedoes coming after you, right? So you're gonna want to try to judge, hey, is this guy like changing their direction? Is this guy changing, um, are they changing up their speed? Are they changing up, where they're heading? So on and so forth. And you have to kind of make that little judgment call, you know, uh, where should your torpedoes go towards to potentially, make those strikes. Now, um, you know, so there are some destroyers that, have great torpedo range. Like, for example, your Pan Asian, I believe, is what, 7 kilometers in torpedo range?
Actually, I think it's 8. Let me
8 kilometers?
check again.
If you hold H, it should
Yeah,
show you.
8.4.
Yeah. Um, if you hold H, it shows you your specs for the ship. Okay. Ship modifiers, status for ship and consumables, survivability, main battery, A guns, maneuverability, detectability, so on and so forth, right? So sometimes I use that for, determining how far my torpedoes go. With 8 kilometers, that's a great range because you can kind of stay hidden well outside of that. You can fire off your torpedoes, hit someone at 8 kilometers, and still be relatively hidden for the most part. But with your torpedoes being deep water, obviously you can't really aim at destroyers, right? Um, so while your guns might, your guns still work, um, be careful because, like I said, you're if you as soon as you fire off your guns, you're basically saying, "Hey, here I am," you know, and they're gonna, and everybody's gonna be aiming at you. Okay, you're gonna put a big old target on your head, because destroyers are dangerous. So people will be pretty much aiming for, or at least they should be aiming for destroyers right at the very start. Okay? So, you know, your detection range, you know, once you fire off your guns, um,
It
you
goes
know,
all the way up to 7.
yeah, okay. So be careful with that. Um, sometimes, obviously, you know, if you're squaring off against another destroyer, then obviously, you know, you're gonna need to fire off your guns, especially with your one destroyer there. Okay, but not all destroyers have deep sea, you know, Pan Asians, I think, are the only destroyer line that has the deep water. There might be like another set that has the deep water, but for the most part, you know, the Pan Asian destroyers are deep water torpedoes. So all other destroyers, like the Samson here, they'll have regular torpedoes, which means their torpedoes can actually hit you. Okay? So just bear that in mind. If you get within torpedo range of that Samson, they're gonna shoot at you, you know, with their torpedoes, and they can hit you. So just bear that in mind. But torpedoes are slow, so you have the potential of dodging them, but it's not gonna be that easy for you as well, because like my ship is still fairly slow. It's not that maneuverable. If I'm like broadside to a ship, you know, such as yourself or to your Samson, it takes a while for me to turn to try to maybe avoid all those torpedoes coming after me. Okay, so um, it's easier in a destroyer because your maneuverability is higher. You can turn a little bit faster, you know. Uh, Not necessarily turn on a dime, but close enough. So, um, now you want to keep with your HEs for the most part against the destroyers, because again, AP rounds are gonna go slicing through the hull of a destroyer and not really do a whole lot of damage. You can test that out right now if you want to. Switch over to your AP rounds and start firing on that destroyer and see. Um, you know, it'll show you the fact that, you know, instead of normal penetration, it'll show um, like non-penetration or
Over penetration.
over penetration. So that'll still do damage, but not much. Okay. So obviously you want to try to use more HE rounds to kind of go into destroyers if you can. Not every ship is going to have HE rounds. Um, Now, when it comes to cruisers, sometimes your guns, are, you know, um, your guns might not be that strong to go into some cruisers. Like if you fire off AP rounds, it might not go into the main hull. Okay, like the main body hull might be too strong for your AP rounds. It might happen. I'm just saying sometimes, you know, sometimes not. Sometimes it's still thin enough that your AP rounds can go through it, but some armors for some cruisers can be really thick. So your AP rounds might not go through a cruiser's armor very well. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to switch over to your HE rounds and fire towards the front of the ship or fire to the rear of the ship. Okay? Uh, Otherwise, you're not going to be getting a whole lot of penetration on the cruisers. So there you go. obviously we get nothing for that battle, but I wanted to kind of talk to you about all that before we go into a battle um, um,
With destroyers.
with destroyers, and or when you're playing a destroyer yourself, I don't necessarily want you I want you to understand the basics of it uh, before you get completely lost, or you're like, oh my god, what's going on, kind of thing, you know. So um, battleships are very much similar to cruisers, so you don't necessarily need to worry too much when you get to the battleships. Um, that's not gonna be too much of a change when it gets to the battleships. Aircraft carriers, though, we're probably gonna want to do the exact same thing to kind of show you um, what um, what aircraft carriers can do, because um, that's another like user interface change up that you're gonna have a hard time trying to get you. It's gonna be a hard learning curve for that
Mm.
for the most part. So okay,
Yeah.
okay. You ready to go? Um, do you want a little bit more training on the destroyer, or do you want to go straight into a random battle?
I guess it specifies uh do a battle to get the feel for it. Come on, man, it's not now. Hip hop. Don't go back to your bed. Go back to the bed. Good
Okay.
girl.
Uh, I'm I'm gonna go ahead and invite you into a division again. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go
Sorry
ahead
about that. The cat came by to hip hop me again.
and nice. Okay, so um, you know, select what ship you wanna mess around with. You know, um, do you want to try your hand at playing the destroyer, or do you want to continue playing with a cruiser?
Practice with a cruiser for now.
Okay. Now, I'll warn you, when we start getting, now that we're in the tier twos, we have the potential of being brought into, um, we, whenever you get into a battle, obviously, you have the potential of getting brought into two tiers higher than where you're at right now. So,
Yeah,
um,
that was also the case in tanks, so I can know what to expect with that.
yeah, for us in tier two, we have the potential of getting brought into a tier four match. Okay,
Yeah.
just because we're tier two. If we're in a tier four match, we're going to be facing off against aircraft carriers. And if you're in a destroyer, you want to try to avoid the airplanes, because once they detect you, then well, you're spotted.
Bombs away.
They're gonna they're basically gonna go, oh hey, there's a destroyer over here. Everybody should shoot at you. Obviously, if you're in a cruiser, that doesn't really matter all that much, but so. But whenever you're ready, go ahead and select your ship, and we'll get started. Now, I could be a jerk, and I could put myself into tier three, which has the potential of putting us into a tier five battle, but I'm not going to do that. There's a reason
Either way,
why.
I don't. If they are using the same system as tanks, they'll base it on the lowest tier, as long as it's not, like,
Nope,
as long as it's within the two-tier higher limit.
nope, not for World of Warships.
Oh,
It's
that limit
it.
doesn't exist here.
Nope.
Now on tanks, to balance that out, because some people will like a tier 5 with a tier 2 companion.
Well,
There was a lot of complaints because of that. So they put the limit for like the platoons they could not have more than a 2-tier difference,
Okay. Well,
and the
the
match would be determined based on the lowest tier of
yeah
the platoon.
the 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 restriction is that if you're on a division, you can't be you can't select a ship that's 2 tiers higher than any of your other um, division mates. Okay, so it has to be within 1 tier. So if someone selects a tier 2, I can't pick a tier 4 ship. Okay, it
Yeah,
has to be either a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3. That's it. Okay. Also,
basic.
seeing that there's potentially 3 people in the division, there can't be a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3 because once again, that tier 3 is counter to the tier 1 in the division. So, you can't have that either. So,
No.
that's the main thing in this. Okay, so it looks like we are in pretty much an AI battle. There are 2 other players on the other team. It is a tier 2 battle.
Yeah, on all tier 2
Now, seeing that we're both cruisers, I would suggest that we basically
base.
um, guard our base because the AIs are just gonna rush it. But
Yeah,
so there's gonna be two
Action
two regular
stations.
players on the enemy team that you're probably gonna want to aim for a little bit. Now, there's a way of kind of telling who's an AI player and who's not. If you look at our AIs, you'll
yeah,
notice that there's colons on the front and back of their names. Like,
yeah,
that destroyer that's like right in front of you, right to your left. There's the
yeah,
media, and right below the little ship description, there's the name Tianpei. There's a colon in front and a colon behind. So that indicates that that particular player is an AI player. Okay. So if you see other players with a colon in the front and the back, typically will, you know, that will show that, hey, this is an AI player. These guys are pretty easy. If they don't have that, like say that, who is it? Doug Juggler and Cool Awesome, then you should probably be aiming at them and trying to do as much damage as you can because our AI players aren't gonna do crap to them.
yeah.
So
Like all the way on the other side.
oh,
Oh,
and one of their play
Giovanni, I don't know where it is.
one of their players is using a battleship, so they're gonna hit you really hard, if they start shooting at you. So be careful.
Yeah,
If you can get that
base.
battleship within range, I would say start shooting.
That's a player right there. I've already identified that one.
Yeah, start firing HE rounds into them
The
because
enemy team is taking the lead.
you'll be able to put the battleship on fire and be able to do more damage overall. AP rounds don't really work very well against battleships. Okay?
Yeah, they're almost too sick according to the video, so
The enemy is about to win.
And you want to keep on moving because remember, the enemy is going to be firing torpedoes at you, so. Okay?
yeah.
The enemy is about to win.
Ah, this is going to be weird. And there's one right in front of me, just as I was firing.
Enemy cruiser detected. Enemy destroyer foundered. Enemy destroyer detected.
You're putting yourself in a lot of. You're putting yourself in the middle there, bud.
Yeah.
Enemy severely damaged.
I was trying to get away from the other one who just got right in front of me, and I'm trying to focus fire on this guy.
We've
Yeah,
destroyed
there
an
goes
enemy
some
cruiser.
engines.
I mean, I know some of these guys are AIs, but you know,
Yeah.
there's still
There's only
some
like 3 of us left, only.
there's still some
The enemy is about to win.
regular players there, and yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where the other one is. This guy was shooting was the player, but the other one I don't know where he was. I think he was also shooting from the other side.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the battle.
Unfortunately, map is waiting at the base. Brings them out last time he was in.
The ship is on fire.
And it's pretty much just you
Yeah,
right
no.
now.
I just want to kind of try to get rid of this.
You are the last
Oh,
hope.
okay, there it goes.
Yeah, no, they capped.
No,
We're like
no,
all in there.
it wasn't a capture. It was a point loss. So um, it wasn't like a full base capture. So you'll
Mm,
notice there is, you know, the at the very top there's the diamonds, and you'll
yeah,
notice that there's like when a base starts getting captured, it'll start kind of going down. It'll start kind of doing like a little ring around it to kind of show the fact that it's being captured. Um, so the only time you'll actually get a base capture was when that ring gets full circle. In this particular case, I was kind of keeping an eye on that because um, I didn't necessarily want the game to really end because I wanted us to still have like a fighting chance kind of thing on it. So um, uh, so I was kind of keeping an eye on it. But the problem was that we kept on losing you know uh, the the loss of our AI companions
mm,
was too high compared to their losses, right? I
yeah,
mean, they had a and they had a player AI, or they had a player battleship. That's like
yeah,
gold when it comes to having a ton of cruisers, and our battleship isn't a player.
yeah,
Um, because battleships can pretty much ruin the day of cruisers. Okay, so bear that in mind. Okay, if you put yourself broadside to a battleship, you're gonna lose more than likely. Because one well-placed shot by a battleship's AP rounds, and they're gonna trash your citadel. Okay, so um, a citadel is basically your armory. Okay, basically where all your shells are located at. That's where your
Yeah.
citadel is. So if they shoot your citadel, they're basically blowing up all your shells and, well, you. So
Yeah, that reminds me of when I kept on getting ammo rack when I first started World of Tanks.
yeah, same kind of deal on that, you know. So um, so that battleship guy was just basically destroying all the cruisers on our team without any real loss or anything like that. Okay, so we're in a tier 3 battle this time around. We now have a pretty balanced matchup this time around because there's one battleship, there's 3 destroyers, and then there's 8 cruisers, but there's only 1, 2, 3 AIs per side. So we
Mm.
have ourselves a little bit of a stronger match this time. So don't go headlong into the enemy because they will trash you.
Yeah.
Try to keep them at your um, main cannon range, but that's about it. You know. Um, Now I'm gonna go down the B column or B row. If you notice on your map there,
Yeah.
there's A through J and 1 through 10. I'm gonna try to go down the B to try to maybe get a little bit of the option of shooting at people that are trying to go down center, mainly the AIs, but um, it will. They're probably gonna try to follow suit as well, so just bear that in mind. You may need to turn around and head back. You may retreat, and there's no harm in that. It really does help, keep you alive. So feel free to retreat if you're feeling a little overwhelmed. Um, if you have like 3 players ahead of you, and it's just yourself, you're probably gonna want to retreat. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, um,
Acknowledged.
okay. Looks like I got one ship in range here.
I need help.
Hey, I'm being detected. Oh, yep. Missed my shots on that one. Careful, don't get too close. You're gonna be
I'm slowing down right now.
you're gonna be shooting into me here pretty soon. Oh, I got caught on fire. Okay, well,
The
that's
ship
not
is on
great.
fire.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around because we're getting a little too far in. Okay, so I'm turning to the port or to your left. So
Turning the opposite direction.
I don't want to get too far out there and have no backup. See, there's the Chikama over there. So, and if I'm not mistaken, the Chikama can throw some torpedoes at us. Um, so be careful with that. Hey there, Queen. How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
The Queen is also on my chat. I think.
Yeah. So, let's head on back and try to drag these guys into some you know, our friendly players here because, um, you know, if we can get them to try to chase after us,
You're about to reach the limit of the map.
yeah, no. I'm trying to aim at
All
that guy,
stations
so
requesting fire on the designated target.
if we can destroy him, then we're gonna be saving our battleship a lot of hardship, okay? Oop, nope, missed. Oh, missed him just barely. There he goes.
Enemy destroyer foundered. Good luck, everyone.
Alright.
I owe you one.
Ooh, I'm getting pelted quite a bit right at the moment, so I'm gonna be aiming for
All
that guy
stations
right there.
requesting fire on the designated target.
Now, in order
He's the
to,
only one I have in range right now.
if you want to basically tell people, hey, go after this guy. If you hover over them, like if you do shift, you know, you're kind of
Yeah.
zooming in on the ship. You can also hit F3, and that'll basically say, hey, shoot at this guy.
All stations reporting the position of a strategic target.
So that can be very handy because sometimes you're basically telling people, hey, you know, I'm firing at this guy, let's all fire on him so that we can take him out quickly. Okay? Now the St. Louis is still coming after me, but that's fine. Okay. St. Louis is now in line of sight. The ooh, he's kind of getting a little outside of my range a little bit there. I retreated a little too much.
Yeah.
But it looks like um, our southern front has lost the majority of our players, so I'm gonna head on down there
Most
to
of us
try
are
to.
up here.
So feel free to finish off that St. Louis and then start heading
Once we
down
reload.
south.
Enemy cruiser detected.
What are you suggesting? Well, I mean, the suggestion I'm giving right at this moment in time is, well, I mean, either he could go after the enemy base, which, you know, you're welcome to do if you want to, but
Our team has taken
they're
the
probably
lead.
going to be guarding it quite a bit, or you can kind of come towards me and try to guard our base against them. So,
I'm right behind you right now. Just trying to catch up since they lost mobility.
well, I'd almost say
Get a wild turn.
go down to their base because these two guys right at this moment in time trying to tackle our base, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
There's
only one or two are in the base right now, and the destroyer's headed that way right now.
yeah. Follow that battleship that you're kind of following behind, and you know. Ooh. gonna die here pretty soon. See if I can get some AP rounds into this guy before I die. Yep, there you go. Did a fair amount of damage on him, so he's gonna die here pretty soon. Let's see. Let me keep an eye on you.
Good show.
There's one like dead ahead of me, and there's another one behind the island.
Now, bear in mind those little white silhouettes. They're kind of showing the last position of where they were,
Yeah.
but they might have moved since then. So sometimes they might still be there. Other times, not so much. So aim for the Charleston if you have them in range and shoot at them. Get them out of the gameplay. Get rid of them.
That's
So
one I
you
missed
just
already.
have just 2 cruisers to worry about.
Oh, actually hit it. Oh, there is another one dead ahead of me.
So CA or DD for Blackheart? I'm not quite sure what you're asking there, Queen. I'm letting Blackheart kind of choose what ships he wants to work with. So um, you know, every ship line has their positives and negatives to them. So I'll try to help him out as best I can. Ooh, that Weymouth is pretty hefty to your left there, and he's hitting you broadside. So I would say,
Yeah, and the other one's also shooting me dead ahead.
yeah, they're kind of focusing fire on you,
On me.
which is smart of them because obviously, um,
I'm the weakest target right now.
yeah, and if they can get rid of you, then that removes more potential damage. But I mean, um,
Acknowledged.
yeah, it was a good effort, my friend. Now,
Yeah.
oh, the K Albert. Oh my God. I didn't know this guy had the K Albert. Oh, K Albert is a premium ship.
Yeah.
And I tried going tier to tier against it before. I actually put that video up on YouTube just just recently, like within the past week or two. Um, and I tried going broadside to broadside against the K Albert with my uh, Kawachi, the Japanese battleship of the same tier.
Yeah.
Fired pretty much point blank range into the K Albert. Uh, I think out of the 12 shells fired, uh, I believe 8 hit, but like 5 of them were ricochets and 3 of them were non-penetrations, so no damage whatsoever.
Damn. That thing has a sick armor.
Yeah, I fired point blank range AP rounds into its main hull, and it didn't do crap. He fired into me, and guess what? Lots of damage. I'm like, what? So I sent that video in to them, and then I was like, hey, what the hell? What's going on here? You know, I fired broadside into the guy and didn't do crap to him, you know, and he fired into me, and you know, he did all the damage in the world to me. What the what the hell? You know? Um, and they were like, you should look up, you know, armor penetration and, you know, ricochets and all this crap. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? You're really kidding me on this, right? It was so frustrating. What line are you suggesting? I mean, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you know, at where his positioning was, he probably could have just like gone down like the sixth column and probably would have been perfectly fine. Which is what he did. So, you know, I was far enough back near my base that him trying to go all the way back to where my position wasn't in his best interest because the two cruisers that were close to our base was already dying for the most part. Uh, Now, if everybody on our nearby our base was like instantaneously died or something like that, then probably would have been probably would have been good for him to follow up. But we were doing pretty well on that. So um,
Okay, now I have combat missions now unlocked.
what line are you suggesting? I know. Oh, okay. In regards to ships, I want him to kind of get an idea as to what he wants to play. Now, Black, I'm gonna need to sign off here. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
sure.
kind of going over. Um, but I still got work in the morning, so I gotta get to sleep here pretty soon. Um, but um, seeing that Black, you're fairly new to the game overall. I mean, you're still unlocking all the like the
All the
combat
basic.
missions and so on and so forth. So um, there's if you look at the tech tree here, I'm gonna leave the division here. Feel free to leave it as well. Um, yeah, please, Queen, if you're well knowledgeable about World of Warships, feel free to help out Black if he continues to play. Um, but concerning the tech tree, um, you have battleships, you have cruisers, you have destroyers, you have subs, and you have aircraft carriers. Now, you haven't gotten into battleships, you haven't gotten into aircraft carriers, and you definitely haven't gotten into um, your you haven't gotten into subs. Subs are still being tested out, so most likely they will eventually open that up to everybody. But for right now, they're just having that as like premium. But
Early access to be tested and get feedback to determine, okay, how do we balance this out?
yeah, pretty much. Um, there's still a lot of problems with subs. Um, they're pretty much a bane to battleships.
Mm.
Um, because they they can put a lot of torpedo damage into a battleship, and there isn't that much a battleship can really do against a sub along those lines because they're too slow. So they're still trying to figure that part out for the most, you know. But
You'll have
you
to balance out their damage output.
maybe, but at the same time they're still torpedoes, so they're still doing a ton of damage anyway. So I mean, you know, on one hand I would say yeah, um,
Or
the
the speed of the torpedo, maybe, to give the battleship a bit more time to get out of the way.
well, here's what I find very interesting is the fact that they they made sub torpedoes magnetic, which um, I'm not so sure how magnetic they were back in World War II. You know, and it's definitely not ping based. Um,
No.
so I'd if I were them, I would definitely kind of remove that um magnetic ability, make them
Yeah,
very
because I think
very
in World War II they had to be like really close for that magnetism to take effect. Then
yeah, but it's not like based off of like a sub's ping. Like, hey, I'm gonna ping the battleship. Oh, okay, the magnetism kicks in. It's like, no, no,
no,
sorry, that's not. That's very
that technology
advanced.
exist then.
That's very advanced for World War II.
Yeah.
Um, Now I can understand, hey, magnetic torpedoes getting close to a magnetic ship. Sure, okay,
Mm,
maybe it tries to divert it a little bit, like last second or something like that. I can kind of understand that a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I would almost
you
say,
need a lot of balancing.
yeah. So, um, but you've only played cruisers and destroyers. Um, Now, personally, I love battleships, but I don't want to influence your preference either along those lines. Okay, I'm really good when it comes to, well, or at least I feel like I'm best with the main guns. Okay, I'm able to kind of judge where the enemy ship is going to be based off of my main guns.
Mm,
Now, you might be really comfortable with being a destroyer. Nothing, no problem with that. You know, if you're really comfortable with using a destroyer, use it. Use it to your full advantage. You know, make it. You know, play it often. Play a lot of it. Enjoy every little second of it if you can. You know,
yeah.
learn all the tricks and trades of being a destroyer captain and make it your own. Maybe you like being aircraft. Maybe you like being a cruiser. No harm in that. There's plenty of cruisers out there available. Um, you know, every nation has some some strong points and some weak points to their ships. Okay. Um, like for example, the United States typically has really thick armor, especially for their battleships and some of their cruisers, but not all their cruisers. Like for example, the Omaha on the uh, on the tech tree, the Tier 5 United States cruiser has some of the thinnest armor ever, and um, if you get shot, if you're in Omaha and you get shot by a battleship's AP rounds, well, they're gonna basically destroy the living shit out of you. You're gonna be basically saying, "Well, that was my life. Goodbye." You know. So, um, so typically, it's not really a good idea to go into a broadside match against a battleship when you're in Omaha. You want to make sure that you angle yourself quite a lot when you go up against the enemy if you're in the Omaha.
Mm,
Um, for example, you know, um, St. Louis and Chester, they have fairly thick armor when it comes to being a cruiser. But that's, you know, then it gets like really thin, and yeah, I don't know about like the other higher tiers, but I mean, if they're anything like the Omaha, don't assume that your armor is gonna protect you. So, um, uh, the Japanese tend to have like the best, uh, like destroyers, especially in torpedo range. Um, the um, they have long distance, they tend to have a lot of torpedo racks to them. So, and they can hide pretty well. So overall, Japanese destroyers are pretty much regarded as some of the best, um, if I'm not mistaken. I don't follow too much on the forums, but I would imagine that's pretty much highly regarded. Um, the However, I think the U.S. destroyers are good gunboats, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're an American destroyer, you can put yourself into a fog, into an obscuring fog, and their guns can do a fair amount of damage fairly quickly, for the most part. So, but obviously, once that fog goes away, well, guess what? If you're still firing, you're showing off where you're at. So,
Yeah.
so, and obviously, you know, every every nation, every like style ship has certain positives and negatives to it. So, um, I mean, if you want to know more, obviously, check the World of Warships forums to kind of get more of an idea as to how people play a certain ship, certain style, so on and so forth. But once you get to the battleships and the aircraft carriers, then we'll cover those a little bit more. Okay. But I gotta get going. So, if you are you still gonna be streaming, or are you gonna
Probably
head out
do.
yourself?
I'll probably do one or two more matches, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna call it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and send all my viewers over to you. So,
Okay.
but um, I'm gonna go ahead and close on out here. So let me go and do my normal ending spiel and give you a raid. Okay. So have fun.
Okay. Thanks. And thanks for the help.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Okay, there, folks. So he can't hear me. I can still hear. You guys can still hear him, but um, I'm gonna go ahead and close on out for tonight. Like I normally do. I only do like 2 hours of these World of Warships every Wednesday. So feel free to stop on by. Um, Same time, same channel. Um, so come on, stop on back. If you want to, all my videos, all my streams are eventually uploaded to my YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out if you like. Got a link down below on my Twitch About page for that. I also have links to my Discord, my Patreon, and my Twitter account
Okay.
that
What
you
did I
can
get myself into?
refer to down below on my Twitch About page, as well as in the description
Mostly
of my YouTube videos.
positively, you don't have to worry about.
That might be a little disturbing for my outro. Hold on, let me just go ahead and deafen altogether. All right. You're probably hearing him on his channel anyway, so it's all good. Okay. But uh, so if you're interested in any of those, feel free to check those out if you're interested. Um, if you want to, you're welcome to join, my World of Warships clan that I have. I got plenty of room, so if anybody's interested in just having a pretty much relaxed atmosphere. I'm not going to demand anything from you. You're not going to be like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you have to be playing every single day to stay in this clan. No, no, you don't have to. I have members that haven't been online for over a year, so you're good. I'm not going to stress about it. So, um, so I mean, obviously, if I get to like 30 people in the clan, then either one, you know, I expand out the clan, you know, with the officers club, or I'll kick out the person that hasn't been online in a year. No big deal. Um, Obviously, if everybody's been playing, you know, online every single, you know, every day, then that makes things a little bit harder. I might have to go, or you know, if the clan is maxed out, then I'd probably be like, okay, time for maybe a second clan, you know. But I haven't had the need to worry about that right at the moment, so it's all good. Um, but if anybody is interested, you're welcome to join um, the SBJ TV clan. You're more than welcome. Um, I don't, like I said, I don't really have any kind of requirements about it. Um, you know, every little bit helps. You know, um, and eventually, you know, maybe someday we'll all participate in clan battles. I'm really slow at the game. I'm a casual player, so I'm probably not going to be doing too much in the clan battles per se. But I mean, you might be joining up with other players that might want the exact same thing. So, you know, feel free to join if you want. You know, um, you know, like I said, I'm not going to stress about it. I want people to have a fun time with the game. I want people to enjoy the game. Um, you know, I don't. I mean, if you still want to be try hard, go right ahead. You know, I'm not going to stop you. Um, but at the same time, there might be other plans that might be better suited per se. So, so just kind of bear that in mind if you're, you know, if you want to consider that or not. So, let's see. Feel free to join my my stream team if you want. I have a team called Robot down below on my Twitch about page. Um, uh, it's all about helping everybody that's on the team, uh, whether they stream or not. Um, you know, the idea behind it is to, you know, have team members that are just kind of everybody, um, you know, works together to try to benefit everybody on the team. If you stream, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. We're there to kind of help you out as well. You know, we're looking for people, you know, moderators, artists, musicians, streamers. You know, there's sub teams. All the information is down below on my Twitch about page, the application link. There is a Google document that explains everything about the team. It's a lengthy one, so bear that in mind. But you know, check that out if you're interested. I'm gonna send you over to Blackheart Games. Um, let's see, anything else that I should let everybody know about? Hmm. Um. Hmm. Not really. I want to thank Queen for stopping on by and chatting with me. I appreciate it. Um, go over to Blackheart and give him a follow. And yeah, that's going to be it. So take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.